Hey guys, Comics G-Man here, and we got some more news that just popped up. I just finished the last video, and these ones just popped up that I didn't see before, so I want to go over them with you. Let's see what looks interesting here. Look at this one, right? Look at all these new ones here. This is the one I just read to you. It's a decent movie, right, by Tiffany. Uh, 9 hours ago, Supergirl had early buzz, so why is it flopping? Who cares? Probably another misogyny thing they're trying to say. Look at this one. Citizen Vigilante versus Supergirl. Polar opposites vie for America's attention. A low budget vigilante thriller and a $170 million DC superhero blockbuster would not ordinarily compete for the same headlines. Well, the reason why they're competing is because this movie isn't making anything at all. Supergirl is a certified bomb, bounding into comics. You know what? I think I want to read that since it's from a comic book site because I'd be curious to see how nerdy they could get in this article. By J.B. Augustine. I don't know who. Writer, journalist, comic addict, and unapologetic kaiju fan. If it's DC or Godzilla, I'm already talking about it with the enthusiasm of someone who's been in the fandom since Batman the Animated Series first hit the airwaves. Damn, dude, this guy is OG. I don't know, guy or girl, JB, got a feeling it's a guy. My favorite characters range from the most moss-covered majesty of Swamp Thing to the flapping terror of Darkwing Duck, but I also want to give a shout-out to the ever-underrated Nightman who refuses to be forgotten. Alright, JB, I like the way you sound, bro. Or brah? Let's see. He's got a... Is that the guy from Power Rangers? This is a dude. This is a dude. Alright, Supergirl is a certified bomb. The tracking proved eerily prophetic, and Supergirl came crashing to Earth in its opening weekend. Domestically and globally, the DCU film performed far below expectations, breaking some very unpleasant records in the process against the reported $170 million budget that's likely higher than anyone lets on. It is such a massive bomb, grossing $38 million nationally and only $68 million internationally, that it did far worse than any of the worst openings for a comic book movie in recent memory. This includes The Flash. Yeah, Az has been bringing that one up a lot, which recent projections had it chasing. But it's even doing better than The Flash did. That's what Az has been saying. The similarly cosmic The Marvels and Morbius, which was the butt of many jokes upon its 2022 release. I mean, guys, come on. If this is competing with The Marvels and Morbius now, come on, you know this is a flop. I mean, Morbius of all movies? Come on. Supergirl isn't doing any better than Joker. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't even fucking watch that Joker movie because I didn't even like the first one. Although their opening numbers are virtually tied, however, things are looking worse in the long term for the former. North Americans did not show up en masse for either, but Joker's divisive sequel received more attention and drew a better overseas turnout, earning $114.8 million globally in its debut. When he says globally, does he mean domestically and internationally? Whatever. Supergirl only ranked in a disappointing $30 million to add its global opening tally. Earnings, attendance, and attention fell off dramatically throughout the weekend, cratering through Friday and into Saturday, bringing in no higher than $11 million reportedly. It trails Joker 2's first Saturday by a small margin of $0.3 million. The numbers speak for themselves, but as a DCU entry, Supergirl is in a tougher spot. Folie du Deux was a sequel in a contained universe, Elseworlds, which is stupid, while the current cape flapping in space at cinemas is the next chapter in the saga of a shared universe. If it can get off the ground, producer and DC Studios executive James Gunn looks to have a failed experiment on his hands. Yes, he does. Very vocal outlets expected this from the start, calling the DCU DOA when Gunn's Superman arrived. The veracity of its financials has been questioned, but it was a rousing success compared to Peacemaker Season 2. John Cena's third go in the helmet didn't garner anything near the attention of the first. Yeah. All right, so that's all he says about it. Let's see the comments he's got. Excuse me. Mad Lemming. I doubt we're going to get much from Gunn after this, unless he can get Clayface and the Batman out before the merger with PSKY. Oh yeah, they're merging with these guys. I forgot what they're called though, because Ellison's team is focused on one thing: making money. That means getting rid of anything costing WD money. If what's happening at CBS right now is any indication, the purges are going to be ugly. You know what I say to that, guys? Let the purges begin. Well deserved. Right, right. All right, so that was a bit more easier to read through and swallow compared to the last article. Let's just go to the other ones here. Oh, look at this one. 5 hours ago. 6 James Gunn DCU movies now in danger following Supergirl's box office disaster. So let's read what this guy has to say. The direct, Sam Hargrave. Sam, who are you? Sam, associate editor. All right. He's a gaming writer. He was a gaming writer and writing all different areas. I realized I didn't even look at who Tiffany was. I guess I didn't give a fuck. All right, so let's keep going. Supergirl just flopped at the box office, and 6 DCU movies may be at risk. The DCU's second movie, Supergirl, recently opened in theaters, and sadly the reactions were much more mixed than last year's Superman. Not only did Supergirl land a rotten 54% score, but it also failed to pull in audiences, resulting in a disappointing B-, which is generous. I can't believe the audience is giving it that. It should be worse. Supergirl's bad word of mouth has carried over. Where it opened in second place behind Toy Story 5's second week with 37.1 million domestically, far below projections that it could cross 50 million, the picture was just as bleak globally. Oh yeah. As Supergirl brought in just 62.6 million worldwide in its first weekend. For context, that is around 30% of the 125 million that Superman debuted domestically and roughly 29% of its 217 million worldwide opening. With competition looming from Minions, Monsters, and the second week, Supergirl is on track to be a financial disaster with a 170 million production and 120 million marketing budget. Holy shit. That's almost like let's just say 300 million just to be rounded up, right? According to Variety, DC Studios stands to lose 100 to 120 million from its latest offering. The studio's co-CEO Peter Safran addressed the result in a comment to the New York Times, noting that despite Supergirl's being disappointing, they remain confident in the larger DCU strategy, which, where is it? There is no fucking DCU strategy. Say what you want about Zack Snyder, but at least his was very simple, right? You have Man of Steel, right? Then you have Batman versus Superman. Wonder Woman comes in. Then we build it up to Justice League, and then we build it around the B-listers, get everybody inside it. Aquaman, Blue Beetle, you go down the list. And then he was probably going to do a lot of big stuff. I think that Zack was going to go into the Injustice universe. That's why he was making Soup so mean and dark, So if he was planning to go into the Injustice universe, honestly, I would have liked to see that now. I mean, if it was between this or that, I loved when they showed in the Justice League Snyder Cut, the end, where they show like the world is all destroyed and Joker and Batman and everybody is together. I would have liked to see that continued. But no, that's gone. It's over. I know there's a lot of remnant Snyder fans out there who keep saying it's going to come back. If it makes you happy. While Supergirl didn't meet our box office expectations, it's just one component of a broader long-term strategy at DC Studios that we remain confident in. Regardless, as always happens when a major blockbuster flops and loses money, Supergirl is bound to prompt talk at DC Studios over the DCU's larger plan, and several upcoming movies could be in danger of facing changes or cancellation. I hope so, because I don't want them to fuck Wonder Woman. How Supergirl's flop could impact the DCU's other upcoming movies. Deathstroke and Bane. According to recent reports, DC Studios' next priority after Man of Tomorrow is a Deathstroke and Bane team-up movie, which entered development in September. I didn't even know about that. Deathstroke and Bane. Yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty deadly duo. There's no denying that Deathstroke has his fans and huge marketability, while Bane is among Batman's most famous villains, but one has to wonder whether that is the right choice for the next DCU to move forward after Supergirl's flop. DCU Studios is developing multiple villain-led projects. Marking a rather strange decision given Sony's string of failed flicks for Spidey's foes, like Kraven. It seems likely that the fate of Deathstroke and Bane's crossover won't be decided until after Clayface, perhaps hinging on how the DCU's first villain-focused movie performs. Wonder Woman. One of the DCU's biggest teething problems has come from its lack of big-name superheroes like Batman and Wonder Woman. Fortunately, scripts are in the works for the two remaining members of the Trinity, with Wonder Woman's reboot currently being penned by Supergirl writer Anna Noriega, and oh boy, are we excited about that. While Hollywood has found success with female-led superhero movies, Captain Marvel, debatable, I will agree with Nerdrotic and those guys, it was only successful because it was running off of the success of Endgame. They have struggled to pick up steam at the box office post-COVID. Wonder Woman was just a great movie all around a classic movie. I think that movie is going to age like fine wine. That's not to say that DC Studios is likely to abandon its Wonder Woman reboot. Please do. As the Princess of Themyscira is a crucial part of DC lore, who has proven herself to be a box office draw in the past. However, the studio may approach its budget cautiously and perhaps hand over the reins to another writer. Yes, but are they just going to hand it to another clone of Noriega? Who knows? We'll see. Given that one of the Supergirl's most criticized components was its script. Teen Titans. Right. We don't have to go over all that. Clayface, let me just see what he says about Clayface here. Next up is Clayface, an R-rated body horror movie centered on the origins of the titular shape-shifting Batman villain set to hit theaters in time for Halloween. Clayface will face a number of hurdles toward the box office success, stars lesser-known character, carries an R rating. DCU is clearly yet to build a returning audience. Last Batman villain spin-off, Joker Follett, flopped. There's no doubt that Clayface's release will go ahead, and all signs point toward it being a stellar entry into DCU. But will it recoup its $40 million budget? No, yeah, I think they could do that easy. I think they could do that easy. No? You guys don't think they could do that one easy? $40 million? I think they could do that easy. Traditionally, the horror and superhero genres have very different audiences, but Clayface has the potential to land with both, recruiting dreadheads to bolster its box office and follow in the footsteps of Obsession and Backrooms. Yeah, so when he puts it that way, that's a pretty smart strategy. Swamp Thing. Oh, they're doing something with that. Unlike many other upcoming DCU movies, Swamp Thing has proven a proven and highly acclaimed director attached in Ford v Ferrari filmmaker James Mangold. Of course, Mangold is busy, who is currently on a heist thriller. Swamp Thing's fate may be in question. Yeah, I mean, if this guy Mangold is that good, I don't think he's going to accept doing a film if it has a horrible script. Interestingly, Swamp Thing has been described as a gothic horror, making it very different from most of DCU's upcoming slate. While its chances of moving forward, I mean, knowing these guys, it's probably going to become a mess. I don't know. I don't trust them with it. The Brave and the Bold. And, of course, we have to finish it off with this one here. DC Studios will hopefully realize that it's time to prioritize Blue Brand's biggest heroes, chief of which is Batman. No shit. Part 2, The Batman, Matt Reeves, in production. DCU still needs its own Dark Knight, though, who will be introduced in The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is set to reunite the Flash writers director duo of Christina Hudson and Andy Muschietti, a decision which James Gunn was forced to defend. Muschietti they're bringing in for that again? I didn't know that. Isn't he the guy? He did The Flash. You're going to use him for that? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Now, look, I like The Flash for the goofy reasons. It's not as bad as, like, Supergirl, but it's not a good movie. With the DCU left in desperate need of a win, one has to wonder whether Gunn will find himself rethinking that decision by passing on the keys to Batman. He better. He fucking better. The powers that be at Warner and DC are bound to conclude there is no such thing as too much Batman. But the Brave and the Bold could come under more scrutiny than ever now. Any comments? No comments. Okay, that was a good article, though. No comments, though. Let's look at one more, and then I'll be done for tonight. This one was 2 hours ago. Let me refresh it, see if anything fresh comes up. Nope. Okay, so this is the most fresh one tonight. 5 reasons why Supergirl has me worried about the future of the DCU. By Kofi Outlaw. Kofi, in writing in film studios, earned master's degree in creative writing. Screen Rant. He recognized potential in Screen Rant as an outlet capable of bridging dedicated fandoms. Oh, okay, so cool. This guy has something to do with Screen Rant. Alright, so let's hear what Kofi has to say. He did this one tonight at 7:13. He put it out. DC's Supergirl movie is looking like it got hit with a blast of kryptonite. The film cost over $170 million to make, but opened well. Alright, we don't have to go over all that. We don't need to go all that. Alright, he's saying here, Supergirl split critics down the middle. Audience scores bent toward average at best. Analysts projecting and it's going to make $80 million on the film. Underperformance has him worried. Now some would say it's hyperbolic to claim doom for an entire franchise on one movie. However, there are no fewer than 5 good reasons why. 5. It still feels like studio interference. Huh, okay, what do you mean by that? When DC Studios was launched, it was launched with a clear branding mission, distinguishing the new era of DC TV movie projects from the fraught and divisive era of Zack Snyder and the DCU. DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran were supposed to be the perfect synthesis of creative and executive minds, and the pair touted their intention to put DC source material and creator-driven visions at the forefront of their content strategy. Fans were supposed to breathe easy that the days of infighting and self-sabotage were over, and that DC would stand on its own. Why I'm worried. No matter how much you liked it or not, Supergirl, it's hard to deny that the film carries very familiar signs of studio interference. From the scenes and arcs that were clearly cut down for the truncated runtime, to the generic marketing and muted presence of acclaimed director Gillespie, I, Tanya, there were red flags all over this movie long before release. If DC Studios in print is just a name, and the same meddling tactics and creative restraints are still there, then there's little reason to think anything is going to be revolutionary or different. Supergirl feels like it's retracing the same missteps The Flash did 3 years ago. Yep. No clear plan or process. Number 4. We have come a long way from the official announcement from 22. We haven't heard the name of the first DCU arc, Gods and Monsters, uttered since the slate reveal. And to say the original plan has been revised would be a gross understatement. Right, like Az talks about how the Authority has been gone now, Amanda Waller, all that stuff. That like it's just been a fucking mess. Why I'm worried. The plan already felt like it was fraying and coming apart, and at this point it doesn't feel like there's any overarching plan. More importantly, if there's a plan guiding things, it doesn't feel like Gunn's initial layout of DC Studios is still working. We were supposed to have thoroughly vetted scripts, partnered with confident creative visions, to ensure only the best superhero movies were coming out of the pipeline. Supergirl has neither the script nor the vision promised. It sacrifices some of the most revered modern source material about the character. Why does, not Kofi here, but why is it that everybody, when they're talking about Supergirl now, it's like Tom King's Supergirl is the only Supergirl source material. I don't understand. Anyway, and barely advances the shared universe in any way. Now it's hard to believe that the studios isn't running the same old kind of spin. Right. Right. DC Studios isn't creating bankable stars. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, look, he's bringing up like Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Chris Pratt, Hemsworth, Evans, and Robert Downey Jr. Obviously, right? Like we don't have that kind of stuff going on here. It's true. So let's see what he says though. Why I'm worried now. 3.5 years later, DC Studios hasn't really cemented any big stars beyond David Cornsweet, who's fantastic. I love David Cornsweet. Cornsweet's Superman was a make-or-break character launch that has gone very well. His co-star Rachel was already an Emmy and Golden Globe winning breakout star thanks to Amazon series The Marvelous Miss Maisel, but she has been a great brand ambassador as Lois. Supergirl star Millie has gotten far less love than her role in House of Dragon, and Momoa seems to be quickly turning into a case of fans not liking the very casting they begged for. Right. You know what? I am glad that my first initial reaction about Momoa is it seems to be resonating with even people who liked the film. Even people who liked Supergirl are saying that they feel like Lobo didn't really do anything for them. So I don't think it was a marketing ploy. It was clearly a marketing ploy. What's this? Number 2, Gunn's stamp is running out of ink. When James Gunn was announced as the head, he had just completed one of the most successful trilogies of the last decade, Guardians. Right. So we all know about that. Despite the criticism he'd gained after working on a DC film, The Suicide Squad, Gunn was viewed as someone fans could trust. Why I'm worried. Gunn has very publicly overhyped two of DC's biggest recent box office flops, The Flash and Supergirl. Supergirl getting particular backlash over a choice Gunn made, which many viewers disliked. There's a scattered collection of... Wait, I want to just see what that is. What is he talking about there? What are fans not happy with? You know, we'll go on that after, guys. Hold on. There's a scattered collection of projects on the release slate, the fall-off on projects and franchise story arc that was initially promised, and rumors, true or not, of Gunn's influence bumping against projects like Matt Reeves' The Batman sequel. Taken all together, these are not great optics. Now, Supergirl is looking like a massive loss for the studio. Gunn could easily bounce back with Man of Tomorrow, but even that would invite the debate over his skills as a filmmaker versus being a studio head. It feels like the people's champion is losing some of the love, and that, going forward, his stamp of approval won't be as strong. And then he talks about the merger. All right, we don't have to talk about that. Let's see if there's any comments on his article here. Forum conversations, Supergirl. Is that? No, there's no comments that are responding to his article. It's a really good article. I'd be curious to see what more people say. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Forum conversation. Best superhero movie of 2006. Checks calendar. Oh, okay, I got you, man. I'm going to watch the movie today. The official release in France is Wednesday, but I got tickets for an early screening. I can't form an opinion yet, but the way people are talking about the movie, one would think that Madam Web and Morbius had an ugly child. Oh, bro, Marco Vito, you're absolutely right. Great comparison. I didn't like the movie, but I also think that review was overly harsh. And clearly baked in the misogynistic oven? Tiffany, is that you? Tiffany, is that you? There's probably Tiffany in there. Misogynistic oven. Oh, Tiffany. Oh, Tiffany. All right, guys, so let me read one more here. All right, nope. I'm going to make this a video. I'm going to do that as a separate video because that's very important. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and hope your eardrums aren't blown out.